Hi, this is Elliot Wave Sage. I want to go ahead and do a market update. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Market was weak today, despite a brief rally intraday. So, looking at the market, looking at the cycle, looking at this as like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now that we're in a two wave, and that actually could have ended. And if it did, we should see some pretty significant selling in the next couple days. It seems to be lined up with tech earnings. Remember in 2000, September 2000 and October, tech earnings was the reason for the collapse in the NASDAQ for this next leg lower and the continuation of the bear market. And I still think earnings is could be that catalyst. We also have the war and some other things going on. But anyway, here you can see the 45-minute and the SPY clearly broke the cycle. We have divergence here, so this is a two wave. And now the market's got to decide if it wants a stronger bounce in two or not. And market has a lot going against it right now. Technically, you've got lower low sequences. Now you have a lot of overhead supply. You're really just back tested into that and got rejected and closed below it. So where's the next area it could bounce? Next area is 414 and a half. Could be the next area for another 1-2 setup. But this is a really critical air line. That's why it's in dark black. There's a confluence of indicators here that show up. So this black line goes back to the March 2020 lows and connects us to the October lows, to the March lows, and here we are. We just so happen to be there at this 414, and it's just here is this massive resistance. You could see here typically it was a lot of resistance. Here we briefly came through it and immediately got dumped back in. Here it was support. Here it was tested as support. This will be the first tag. My guess is the first tag we should see a rebound. So what I'm thinking is look for the flat pattern on this too. Look for something that looks something like this, and I'll just kind of draw it out. Don't fall into the trap, but look for something like that. Maybe not that significant, maybe like that. That's what I would expect technically to see, but do what's best for you. No guarantee. But if we were to break this and flip this as resistance, then the market could have uncontrollable catastrophic selling. And I do believe that. So that's an important line in the sand because really the next area of support would be at 384. So that would pretty much, and I pretty much will go down there in a straight shot, I think, if we lose this. Now the Dow Jones is also right on its trend line today. It closed right below it. It's on the trend line that goes back to the October low to the March low, all the way back here. And you could see, look at all these gaps that haven't filled from March 2020. Look at them all. So I believe all those gaps will eventually fill. So here we are. So now we're on this. So this is showing a 3 of 3 moment to the downside on the Dow Jones. If we do break it, next area would be 31,000, and then we'll probably tag this support area, bounce more than likely in this area, and we'll see where things are. SPY mentioned the triple Qs. Again, trying to fight within this overhead supply. We made the lower low sequence. And now, again, if we look at our swing count, you do have a connector. You have divergence here. So this is your 3, 4, 5, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're bouncing. Here, again, it could still be in 2. We could see tech earnings have a catalyst, but that would be another opportunity to short into if we do get another euphoric pump. And that would just probably come back on our downtrend line and short that, and then it will probably come back up to tag this line that we had here. That would be the euphoric pump, and of course if we break down into earnings, we'll finally break this pattern. that we have here. It will finally break, and we should see 320, 325, somewhere in this area, potentially as low as 313. So just keep that in mind. I don't like going long tech if we're running up into earnings like this. Now we're pulling back, so that's interesting. And we could also have another kind of flat situation where tomorrow we pull back and then earnings we do something like that and then ultimately lower. But ultimately it's lower. Like all this is just day trader battles. Ultimately it's lower longer term. This is just going to try to get people to get the position that they're trying to jockey for here. And I think you'll just have to do what's best for you. But I do think if you're playing the long side, just know you're more likely going against the trend, and you're really setting yourself up for a situation where the news or some event happens, and you could be really sad because the market could drop much lower. So Bitcoin is pumping. So we finally got this breakout. We didn't, I always was not sure. I want to be on the sidelines on Bitcoin. I know this won't be a very popular label, but with the market conditions where they are, I wouldn't be surprised to see a flat. And I do think you got to do what's best for you. You could chase it. I can be wrong and be in another 2 here, but I don't like chasing on news like this. It just seems like such a big setup for retail and for the mom and pop investor to go long into this kind of news. Does it make sense to them, right? Oh, an ETF, and we can go long and make sense. It just seems too good to be true. It seems like a setup, and again, this is my thinking around poker and not chess. I'm thinking a rug pull down, and the market conditions favor that when we start to get the real capitulation sell-off. And so just be careful. And of course, we have found sellers right where I have it. It'll be interesting to see what happens tonight if we still get sellers here. But we got a big rejection right at the flat area, and that's a major warning sign. This continuation, if it were to also fail and go below this low, then the flat scenario is very much in play. To negate it, you really need another significant push higher, ultimately breaking 36,000, or a pullback, and with a high to give a nice clean 5-wave look to negate this. But this is a clear 3-wave look right now. But do what's best for you. I would still be cautious given the market conditions because of what I showed you earlier. If that was not the case and we were at a low and the market still had more, I would say than that favored risk-on behavior and the follow-through herd mentality needed to get this going even higher, I do think you got to be careful here chasing it. But you'll do what's best for you. Again, I can be wrong, but I'm not interested in chasing crypto here unless we get some kind of pullback like I'm showing, or something more significant. I will not just go market buy because there's a breakout. I think it's a perfect setup for a flat. Oil breaking out this bearish wedge. So oil's failed to confirm break this high, and this looks impulsive. This looks corrective. So it does look to me the trend is lower still with this X being set, which is deflationary and bearish for the market overall. Gold came close to the short area and it got rejected. I think it may struggle to actually reclaim this. Silver, the same thing, short area, reject it. I think it will struggle to reclaim that. Dollar index had a surprise sell-off. I think that helped Bitcoin a little bit. And the next area would be 104.90, 98. But I do expect this is the dip buy in the dollar and perhaps a way to time the reversal in some of the instruments you may trade. But I do think we'll get another 3-wave move just like that coming. And then, of course, the 10-year, Bill Ackman covered his short like he's some genius or something. Unfortunately, I think he'll regret doing that, but it was smart. It's good risk management, but I told everyone to watch this back test of this breakout, and we did get it. Maybe it could still go down, but I think we got it, and now we'll get another squeeze up. And everybody that longed it, following his lead, I think is about to get blown up. And this will probably cause the market sell off and panic or be part of that panic. And you could see how we timed that perfect, but that also timed the VIX back test perfect here. So we have a back test of the VIX and a back test of the 10-year right at support, resistance, now support. If the VIX can continue higher tomorrow, there'll be a massive down day tomorrow. The VIX has to fail, and it didn't. It's held its back test. So that should scare the living crap out of you. This, and this should scare you. And then it also should have timed it for your short. So this could have been when these got hit, you could have went short intraday, which was the peak of the indices, and then it faded ever since. You should be up in your short. Okay. So that's the market. That's how I'm looking at the market right now. Look at China. Keep an eye on China and a lot of 1-2-1-2s. About to make a historical break of a trend line that could really set up some massive technical sell-in. All right, so overall, pretty bearish market, looking for short opportunities, intraday scalps short, not looking for long. The only long possibility, if you're a day trader, keep an eye out on this level at 414.63, 414.5. You could try to play this area for a bounce. This wave is so long, if it's a 2, it'll be small, but this is such an important confluence of support. That's why I think the better way would be that label this as a B, and then you get this C and try to play that. Of course, using a stop loss. This is a long opportunity in the indice, and then then you can move your 2 up that way. That would also reset the 4-hour, 45-minute stochastics if that happened. But if we don't meander our way down here, if we just cut down through here and we're below this at 410, 412, I wouldn't like that long at all. In fact, we could be set up for the waterfall sell-off to 384. So it's just an intraday idea that on the long side that doesn't, that hasn't come around too often. You can see every time we've hit it, we've had major lows, and here we had that massive reversal when we did break it. Perhaps even you get a little wick like that. So there's a lot of risk, but a lot of reward potential depending on how this wave works out. But it's a bounce area. We bounced too soon here. We didn't get to, I was hoping to get that. We didn't get it. So that means the market, I think technically will want to search for this area and either bounce and then just have a massive failure. Either we'll open underneath of it, gap and drop, or we meander our way down in a B wave and then ricochet off with tech earnings or something. So tomorrow's probably going to start out pretty red, I'm thinking, and then it's going to be a coin flip where we go from there based on earnings, based on the Hamas information of the day and everything else. But I would be scared right now if I was long by looking at how the 10-year closed on the support and bounced, and how the VIX closed today on the support and bounced. I would be scared long. I would be scared. So you got to do what's best for you. Good luck, guys, on that situation. All right, let's look at some tech earnings and see where things are going. So Apple, again, looks like kind of 3-wave move down here. Doesn't look like 5 waves to me yet. So 1, 2 could be a 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, could see a drop and then a pump, sideways. You may not see as big of a move in Apple as people expect on earnings. Amazon, that one looks set up for a massive sell-off potentially. Be careful. 1-2, 1-2, and be careful. And Amazon, Google, everyone's FOMO into Google. We call it the flat. 1-2, 1-2. Google set up for a dramatic sell-off. Facebook, same thing, is set up for a pretty significant sell-off. Tesla's already sold off, and it should, again, this should be a 4-wave, so it should be a 1, 2, 3, 4. We should get 5, and then a bigger rally. If we get another pump, then it's another 1, 2, 1, 2. And then Netflix, like I mentioned, will struggle here. I believe it will fade, and this is another connector. And then Nvidia, still in this 2-wave, and gave this idea, and this should fail. And Microsoft, look at Microsoft here. That looks like 5 up. So Microsoft is the only one that may actually pop on earnings that I think could jump up into this area I've highlighted. And again, I couldn't be wrong here, but I think it looks like to me some kind of a flat pattern here, and an A, a B, and a C, and we have a 1, 2, and we need 3, 4, 5. So, and it just seems like the right setup to me. The only other alternative is a run-in flat, which is a rare pattern, and we'll need to see tomorrow some heavy selling into earnings, because this during the trading day should, if we take out 337 tomorrow, I think it sets you up for this big move higher. If we start pulling back and we break 324, then I think it sets you up for a 3 of 3 to the downside in a run-in flat. But anyway, guys, that's all I've got. And Adobe, of course, got rejected like we expected. It's continuing lower. It's about to break its trend line, and that's where it's heading. Okay, so in the end, dangerous time for the market. There's two. I think there's two scenarios I see. I see a flat scenario in 2, where you get this A, B, C, and there is a nice money to be made on this pump. And I would look for like a VIX. One of the clues would be like a low VIX, like the VIX not building higher, and we come down here, get some divergence, some bullish divergence with the VIX to the market conditions. That would kind of indicate that something like this is happening. And then the other alternative is 2 is done, and we're just going to push lower, and then we'll gap down at some point and have a free-for-all sell-off down to 384 or potentially even lower. So that's what I think is in store. You gotta make a decision on what you think is going to happen, and own that, but prepare that what you may think may happen won't, and you don't want to lose too much money, and preserve your capital, because I do think when this is over, there'll be good opportunities to buy and go long. And like I said, Bitcoin, just keep an eye on it. It does. I know this feels good for a lot of people. It just seems too obvious to be a trap. It seems too obvious for me to be too good to be true. And when something's too good to be true in the market, it usually is. It's usually a trap. The other side is laying for somebody, and we'll see how this goes going forward. But if you want to FOMO in a momentum trade and you get stuck in this flat, just know what it is. Now that we made this high, if we do get this flat, it pretty much guarantees that we'll have another sequence higher, and we'll probably be in the 50,000 Bitcoin area later in 24. So what you'll have to do is you get this flat, you're just going to have to hold through it, and then look to add more when it finishes out. If you get trapped in the flat, if you can't help your emotions and you want to FOMO in and market buy and do all that, it may work out, because I'm not like 36,000 breaks, then the flat is negated, in my opinion. But if it doesn't work out and you're trapped in the flat, uh, my advice is to just hang on tight, and then more than likely, you won't ever see these levels again probably. So I think it's safe to say that this is the low, and now you got this pullback. But I do think this is setting up for a flat scenario based on sentiment and just kind of my take on the market. But good luck everyone, and I'll talk to you guys later.